Tonight we begin with an ultimatum that has placed the entire Middle East on the edge of war. An ultimatum delivered not through diplomatic back channels, not through carefully worded statements, but through a direct, public, and unmistakable threat. An ultimatum that gives the United States 72 hours to withdraw its naval forces from the Persian Gulf and surrounding waters. An ultimatum that promises attack if that withdrawal does not occur. At Tehran time this morning, Iranian Supreme National Security Council Secretary Ali Shamkhani appeared on state television. His words were broadcast simultaneously on every Iranian channel. His message was translated into English, Arabic, French, and Russian. Within minutes, his warning was as clear as any declaration of war. The American fleet in our waters is an act of aggression. We have shown patience. That patience has ended. If American warships are not withdrawn within 72 hours, Iran will exercise its sovereign right to defend its territory. We will attack and we will not stop until every hostile vessel has left our seas or lies beneath them. 72 hours, 3 days. That is the window the world now has to prevent what could become the largest naval battle since World War II. The countdown has begun, and as of this moment, Washington has shown no intention of backing down. For months now, there had been signals not from official diplomatic exchanges, not from United Nations resolutions, just signals that Iran's tolerance for American naval presence was reaching its breaking point. The tension had followed a certain pattern, a rhythm, almost a slow-motion collision. American carrier strike groups rotating through the region, Iranian fast attack boats conducting aggressive approaches, American surveillance aircraft flying near Iranian airspace, Iranian missiles tested with increasing frequency and range. Each incident was contained. Each provocation was absorbed. Each near miss was explained away as miscommunication or posturing. But what set off the final sequence? What transformed simmering hostility into an explicit countdown to war was the deployment announced by the Pentagon 3 weeks ago. The largest American naval buildup in the Middle East since Operation Iraqi Freedom. Intelligence analysts who monitor regional military movements know the scale. The USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group positioned in the Gulf of Oman, the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group operating in the Red Sea, the USS Bataan Amphibious Ready Group stationed in the Persian Gulf itself. At least 4 guided missile submarines believed to be operating in regional waters, over 15,000 sailors and Marines deployed across the fleet. Aircraft capacity exceeding 150 combat jets. This was not a routine deployment. This was a message that said, "We can strike you whenever we choose." Iran received that message, and today they sent their response. At 6 local time, without prior diplomatic warning, Iranian state television interrupted all programming for what was described as a critical national security announcement. The screen showed the emblem of the Supreme National Security Council. Then Ali Shamkhani, the Secretary of the Council and one of the most powerful figures in Iran's security establishment, appeared. His expression was grim. His uniform was formal. His words were chosen for maximum impact. For decades, Iran has tolerated the presence of hostile foreign forces in waters that belong to our region. Waters that are vital to our security, our economy, our sovereignty. We have shown restraint while American warships have conducted provocations. We have pursued diplomacy while American aircraft have violated our airspace. We have sought peace while American submarines have lurked near our shores. He paused. That era of restraint is over. Today, the Islamic Republic of Iran issues its final warning to the United States of America. The concentration of American naval forces in the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman, and the Arabian Sea constitutes an imminent threat to Iranian national security. This threat cannot be tolerated. The United States has 72 hours beginning from this moment to commence the withdrawal of all naval vessels from these waters. If this withdrawal does not begin within 72 hours, Iran will exercise its inherent right of self-defense under international law. We will attack the American fleet. We will attack with everything at our disposal, and we will not cease until the threat to our nation has been eliminated. The statement lasted 7 minutes. It included specific coordinates defining the zone from which American forces must withdraw. It included explicit warnings that any American aircraft approaching Iranian airspace during the 72-hour window would be shot down. It included a declaration that Iranian naval forces, missile batteries, and air defense systems were now at their highest state of readiness, and it concluded with words that left no room for interpretation. This is not a negotiating position. This is not an invitation to dialogue. This is a final warning. The American fleet will leave, or the American fleet will burn. The ultimatum was issued at 600. The clock is now ticking. 67 hours remain. The response from Washington came within 3 hours. It was not conciliatory. It was not diplomatic. It was defiance. The Secretary of Defense, speaking from the Pentagon briefing room, addressed Iran's ultimatum directly. The United States does not respond to threats. The United States does not withdraw under pressure. And the United States will not abandon its commitment to freedom of navigation and regional security because of reckless rhetoric from Iran. He continued, American naval forces operate in international waters in accordance with international law. Our presence in the region is at the invitation of our partners and allies. We are there to protect global commerce, ensure maritime security, and deter aggression. Iran's ultimatum is rejected completely, unequivocally. Finally, let me be clear to the Iranian leadership. Any attack on American forces will be met with an immediate, overwhelming, and decisive response. The consequences for Iran would be catastrophic. We urge Tehran to reconsider this dangerous path. That phrase, immediate, overwhelming, and decisive, is Pentagon language for something very specific. We will destroy you. But Iran's leadership has heard American threats before, and they have made their calculation within hours of the American response. Iranian state media broadcast footage of military preparations, ballistic missile batteries being loaded with warheads, fast attack boats massing at coastal bases, anti-ship cruise missiles being transported to launch positions, fighter jets being armed on runways, submarine forces departing from Bandar Abbas. Iran is not bluffing. Iran is preparing for war, and the United States, by refusing to withdraw, has accepted that war may come. The countdown continues. 63 hours remain. Tonight, as both nations move toward confrontation, military analysts are assessing Iran's actual capabilities to carry out its threat. And those capabilities, while not matching American power, are far from negligible anti-ship ballistic missiles. Iran possesses the largest and most diverse arsenal of ballistic missiles in the Middle East. Among these are weapons specifically designed to destroy warships. The Khalij Fars Persian Gulf is a solid-fuel ballistic missile with a range of 300 kilometers and terminal guidance that allows it to strike moving naval targets. The Hormuz II is an anti-radiation missile designed to home in on the radar emissions of Aegis-equipped destroyers. The Fateh 110 and its variants can be launched from mobile platforms, making them difficult to preemptively destroy. In a saturation attack, dozens of missiles launched simultaneously. These weapons could overwhelm the defensive systems of even the most advanced warships, anti-ship cruise missiles. Iran has developed and deployed multiple cruise missile systems capable of threatening surface vessels. The Noor, based on the Chinese C-82, has a range exceeding 120 kilometers and sea-skimming flight profile designed to evade radar detection. The Gator extends that range to 200 kilometers. The Khalij Fars cruise variant adds terminal maneuverability that complicates interception. These missiles can be launched from shore batteries, fast attack boats, or aircraft, creating multiple threat axes for American defenses, fast attack craft. The Revolutionary Guard Navy operates hundreds of small, fast boats armed with rockets, missiles, and torpedoes. In the confined waters of the Persian Gulf, these vessels can swarm larger warships, overwhelming point defense systems through sheer numbers. American carriers and destroyers are designed for blue water operations, open ocean combat. The Persian Gulf is not open ocean, it is a bathtub. And in a bathtub, swarm tactics can be devastatingly effective. Submarine forces. Iran operates 3 Kilo-class diesel-electric submarines. Russian-built vessels that are extremely quiet when operating on battery power. They also operate approximately 20 submarines designed for shallow water operations in the Gulf. In the constrained acoustic environment of the Persian Gulf, detecting these submarines is extraordinarily difficult. A single torpedo hit on a carrier or destroyer would transform the strategic equation instantly. Mining capability. Perhaps Iran's most asymmetric advantage is its ability to mine the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow choke point through which 20% of the world's oil passes. Iran possesses thousands of naval mines, from simple contact mines to sophisticated influence weapons. Closing the strait, even temporarily, would trigger a global economic crisis, and clearing those mines under combat conditions could take months. American military superiority is real, but Iranian capability is not zero. And in war, capability plus willingness equals danger. Iran has both, and here is where the story becomes even more complex. Intelligence analysts are now asking the critical question, why now? Why has Iran chosen this moment to issue an ultimatum it knows could trigger devastating American retaliation? The answers are still emerging, but several theories are gaining traction. Theory 1. Domestic politics. Iran's economy is devastated by sanctions. Inflation is rampant. Unemployment is soaring. Public discontent is simmering. A confrontation with America, even a costly one, could rally nationalist sentiment and distract from domestic failures. War has often been the refuge of regimes facing internal pressure. Iran may be calculating that the risks of war are less than the risks of continued economic collapse. Theory 2. Perception of American weakness. Iran watches American politics closely. They see a nation divided, a military stretched across multiple theaters, an administration facing electoral pressures. They may have concluded that Washington lacks the political will for a sustained conflict in the Persian Gulf, that a sharp, costly initial engagement might trigger American withdrawal rather than escalation, that the era of American dominance in the Middle East is ending and Iran can accelerate that ending. Theory 3. External guarantees. Iran does not stand alone. China has become Iran's largest trading partner and a major purchaser of Iranian oil. Russia has provided weapons, technology, and diplomatic cover. Both nations have indicated they would view American military action against Iran as destabilizing. Has Iran received private assurances from Moscow or Beijing? Assurances that support would be forthcoming if conflict erupts. Intelligence agencies are working to answer that question. The answer could determine whether this crisis remains regional or becomes global. Theory 4. Religious calculation. Supreme Leader Khamenei is 85 years old. His legacy is undefined. Some analysts believe Khamenei has concluded that confrontation with America the Great Satan would cement his place in Islamic revolutionary history, that martyrdom for the cause is preferable to dying in bed while the revolution fades. Religious conviction can override rational calculation, and in a theocracy, religious conviction shapes national policy. None of these theories are mutually exclusive. All of them may be operating simultaneously, but whatever the motivation, the outcome is the same. Iran has chosen confrontation, and the clock continues to tick. 54 hours remain as the deadline approaches. Military preparations on both sides are accelerating. American forces, all vessels in the strike groups have gone to general quarters, battle stations manned continuously. Combat air patrols have been doubled with F/A-18 and F-35 maintaining constant coverage over the fleet. Aegis radar systems are operating at maximum sensitivity, tracking every aircraft and missile launch across Iran. Submarine assets have reportedly repositioned to attack posture, ready to strike Iranian naval installations. B-2 stealth bombers at Diego Garcia have been armed with bunker-busting munitions. Cyber Command has activated offensive capabilities targeting Iranian military networks. Iranian forces, Revolutionary Guard naval forces have dispersed from bases, making them harder to target preemptively. Mobile missile launchers have departed known facilities and relocated to pre-surveyed firing positions. Air defense systems, including Russian-supplied S-300 systems, are on maximum alert. Underground facilities housing ballistic missiles have been activated. Coastal artillery batteries along the Strait of Hormuz have been manned. Special Forces units have reportedly been deployed to positions near Gulf state American installations. Regional reactions. Saudi Arabia has placed its military on highest alert and requested additional American Patriot batteries. The UAE has activated its THAAD missile defense system and evacuated non-essential personnel from military installations. Kuwait has offered expanded basing access to American forces. Qatar, home to Al Udeid Air Base, has quietly begun evacuating dependents. Bahrain, headquarters of the United States Fifth Fleet, has closed schools and ordered shelter preparations. Israel has placed its Arrow missile defense system on elevated status and convened its security cabinet. The entire region is preparing for war. Governments are stockpiling supplies. Citizens are filling gas tanks and withdrawing cash. Embassies are updating evacuation plans, and 48 hours from now, the shooting may begin. Remember, the world has seen Iranian ultimatums before. In 1980, Iran was invaded by Iraq and fought for 8 years at a cost of 500,000 lives. In 1988, the USS Vincennes shot down an Iranian civilian airliner, killing 290 people, and Iran did not retaliate with the full force many expected. In 2020, the United States assassinated Qasem Soleimani, the second most powerful man in Iran, and Iranian retaliation was limited to missile strikes that killed no Americans. Each time Iran showed restraint when confrontation threatened. Each time the regime calculated that survival outweighed satisfaction. But this time feels different. The language is more absolute. The preparations are more visible. The deadline is more specific. And the regime has staked its credibility on follow-through. If Iran backs down now, if the 72 hours pass without action, the regime will be humiliated. Their threats will be exposed as empty. Their deterrent will be degraded. Their enemies will be emboldened. Supreme Leader Khamenei has spent 35 years building a reputation for resolve. Backing down now would undo decades of careful positioning. The pressure to act to prove that Iranian threats are real may be irresistible, and that pressure is pushing toward war. What makes this moment so dangerous is that both sides face pressures that push toward escalation rather than de-escalation. In Tehran, the ultimatum has been issued publicly. The entire nation is watching. The entire Muslim world is watching. Backing down would be seen as capitulation weakness that could trigger internal unrest far more dangerous than external war. The Revolutionary Guards, who have built their identity on confronting America, would view retreat as betrayal. The pressure is to attack regardless of consequences. In Washington, the administration has publicly rejected the ultimatum. Backing down would signal that American power can be challenged with threats alone. Every ally in the region, Saudi Arabia, Israel, the UAE, would question American reliability. Every adversary, China, Russia, North Korea, would note American retreat. The political costs of withdrawal could exceed the political costs of conflict. The pressure is to hold firm regardless of risks in the region. Gulf states have invested decades and billions in American security guarantees. If those guarantees prove hollow, if America withdraws under Iranian threat, the entire regional security architecture collapses. Some would seek accommodation with Tehran. Others would pursue nuclear weapons of their own. The pressure on Washington from allies is to stand and fight. Globally, the price of oil has already spiked 40% since the ultimatum was issued. Shipping companies are halting transits through the Strait of Hormuz. Global markets are in turmoil. The economic pressure to resolve this crisis is immense, but resolution requires someone to back down, and neither side is showing any indication of blinking. Every pressure point is pushing toward collision. 42 hours remain. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session Thursday afternoon. The session was contentious, divisive, and ultimately inconclusive. The American ambassador demanded unequivocal condemnation of Iran's threat to international peace and security and called for immediate sanctions. The Iranian ambassador present in the chamber for the first time in months responded with a blistering attack on American imperial aggression and naval occupation of sovereign waters. The Russian ambassador called for mutual de-escalation, while notably not criticizing Iran's ultimatum. The Chinese ambassador expressed deep concern and urged dialogue over confrontation, language that pleased no one. The British and French ambassadors attempted to broker compromise language, a call for both sides to exercise restraint, but the resolution was vetoed by Russia before it could be finalized. The Security Council designed to prevent exactly this kind of crisis has failed. The Secretary-General issued a personal statement pleading for wisdom to prevail and offering mediation. Neither Washington nor Tehran has accepted. The international community is watching helplessly as the countdown continues. Diplomatic solutions are not emerging. Military preparations are accelerating, and the clock that began ticking at 600 Tehran time continues its relentless advance. 36 hours remain. Thursday evening, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei addressed the Iranian nation in a speech broadcast from an undisclosed location. His words were designed to prepare his people for what may come. He said, "We do not seek war. We have never sought war, but we will not accept humiliation. We will not accept foreign warships threatening our shores. We will not accept the arrogance of powers who believe they can dictate to the world." He said, if war comes, it will be America's choice. They can leave peacefully, or they can learn the cost of aggression. The choice is theirs. And he said, to the Iranian people, you are the descendants of a great civilization. You have endured sanctions, threats, and isolation. Now you may be asked to endure more. But know this, Iran will never kneel. Iran will never surrender, and Iran will never be defeated. The speech was followed by footage of Iranian military forces, missiles launching, ships sailing, soldiers marching. State television announced that Friday prayers across the nation would be dedicated to victory over the enemies of Islam. The regime is preparing its population for war. Whether that preparation is genuine or theatrical is the question that will be answered in 30 hours. Here is what makes the coming hours so unpredictable. Iran's threat does not exist in isolation. The axis of resistance, Iran's network of regional allies and proxies, has activated Hezbollah. The Lebanese militia has announced full solidarity with Iran and warned that any attack on the Islamic Republic will be treated as an attack on all resistance forces. Hezbollah possesses over 150,000 rockets and missiles pointed at Israel. Their involvement would transform a United States-Iran naval conflict into a regional conflagration. The Houthis, Yemen's Iran-backed movement, has declared that American ships in the Red Sea are legitimate targets. The anti-ship missiles have already proven capable of striking commercial vessels. Their involvement would threaten the vital Bab el-Mandeb and obstruct the southern entrance to the Red Sea. Iraqi militias. Iranian-backed groups in Iraq have warned that American bases on Iraqi soil will burn if Iran is attacked. Thousands of American personnel are stationed in Iraq. Their vulnerability is acute. Hamas and Palestinian groups. Iranian allies in Gaza have expressed support for Tehran. Whether they would act during a United States-Iran conflict is uncertain, but not impossible. A single front is dangerous enough. Multiple fronts, naval, Lebanese, Yemeni, Iraqi, could stretch American forces beyond capacity. Iran is not threatening alone. Iran is threatening with an army of allies. Military analysts are now gaming out the scenarios for what happens when the deadline expires. Scenario 1. Iranian bluff. The deadline passes. Iran does not attack. Tehran claims American fear caused a de facto withdrawal or reduced presence. The crisis de-escalates through ambiguity. Neither side admits defeat. This is the least likely scenario. Iran's credibility would be devastated. Scenario 2. Limited Iranian strike. Iran launches a limited attack, perhaps a single missile barrage or drone swarm against an isolated American vessel. The attack is designed to demonstrate resolve without triggering maximum American response. Washington must then choose between proportional response and massive escalation. This is a possible Iranian calculation. Scenario 3. Maximum Iranian attack. Iran launches everything: ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, drones, fast attack boats, submarines in a coordinated assault designed to overwhelm American defenses and inflict maximum casualties. The logic is that if war is coming, strike first and strike hard. This is the nightmare scenario. Scenario 4. American preemption. The United States, anticipating Iranian attack, strikes first. Iranian missile batteries, naval bases, and command facilities are hit before the deadline expires. Iran then retaliates against a degraded American fleet.